Now, the deep state, they're clearly in panic mode, but also tonight, so too are their best friends in the Democratic Party. Now, for nearly 3 years, Pelosi, Schumer, their radical base, they have relied on nothing other than lies, conspiracy theories, the politics of destruction. They've been on a mission, and that is to take down a duly elected president, President Trump, at all costs. Now, they had no plan to improve the economy. None. None to improve the lives of the forgotten men and women, the people of this country that make the country great. No solution for immigration. No vision for more peace around the world. Instead, 3 long years, one big lie, conspiracy theory, a Roswell, New Mexico level conspiracy. But now the gig is up. We now have 4 separate investigations that have all cleared President Trump of the spurious charges leveled against him and his campaign. No collusion, fact. No obstruction, fact. And now, with their collusion hoax dead and buried, and absolutely zero record of accomplishment from anybody in the Democratic Party, well, Democrats, they're now grasping at straws. And now, let's go to a 5th investigation. Maybe we'll make it an impeachment threat. Over what? Unspecified phantom crimes that they can't even seem to describe. They're literally demanding what would be a 5th separate investigation into Trump and Russia. Rage, hatred, psychosis now govern this new radical extreme Democratic Socialist Party. So today, right before an important infrastructure meeting planned at the White House, Nancy Pelosi, she had plenty of time to continue the lying and recklessly accuse the president of a cover-up. By the way, while you watch this, think, a cover-up of what?
We do believe that it's important for to follow the facts. We believe that no one is above the law, including the President of the United States, and we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up.
Okay, accusing the president of covering up a crime that never happened, covering up exactly what, Speaker Pelosi? What is the president of the United States covering up? Investigations from the FBI, Bob Mueller, House Intel Committee, bipartisan Senate panel on the same Russia collusion lie all cleared the president. And yet Speaker Pelosi, by the way, she's only Speaker in name only. She has to now capitulate to a radical base led by the real Speaker of the House. And that, of course, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her friends in the radical left. And Pelosi, of course, now acting on the insane dictates, yes, given by freshman congresswomen to bash our commander-in-chief just minutes before what is supposed to be a bipartisan important meeting on infrastructure at the White House. President, he's done. 2.5 years, cooperation, no executive privilege, encouraged everybody to testify, 1.5 million documents, even answered Mueller's questions. He's done. Now, he is not going to be a punching bag day in and day out. And today, the president rightly fought back in a huge way. He should do it. He did do it. And according to reports, President, he walked right into his meeting with Pelosi and Schumer, called them out for their unethical conduct, and ended the meeting and walked into the Rose Garden where he delivered these pretty powerful remarks. Take a look.
The whole thing with Russia was a hoax as it relates to the Trump administration and myself. It was a total horrible thing that happened to our country. Then I have Nancy Pelosi go out and say that the President of the United States engaged in a cover-up. Now, we've had a House investigation. We have Senate investigations. We have investigations like nobody's ever had before, and we did nothing wrong. I walked into the room, and I told Senator Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, I want to do infrastructure. I want to do it more than you want to do it. I'd be really good at that. That's what I do. But you know what? You can't do it under these circumstances. So get these phony investigations over with.
Yeah, it is beyond sad. It's frankly pathetic. These phony investigations, sick conspiracy theories, that's all this Democratic Radical Socialist Party has. Pelosi, she's been Speaker now for nearly 6 months. They've accomplished nothing. She turned down a compromise on DACA, a compromise for Dreamers. She refused to address the crisis at the border, said building walls are immoral. She wasn't saying that in Obama's second term. She blocked any attempt to address the failures that everybody pays more, lost their doctor. Oh, and by the way, they don't have any choices anymore. Obamacare. She and her fellow Democrats, they played zero role in what is now the best economy we have seen in decades. It is roaring. America's energy independence, Democrats, no role. The millions of new jobs created, no role whatsoever. 1.7 million jobs available, more than people on unemployment. Securing the border, no role whatsoever. Trade deals, nothing. They've done nothing. And she can't even show up to a bipartisan infrastructure meeting without launching a vile attack against the president first? This is not Pelosi's first rodeo, though. She knows her impeachment fantasies. It's bad politics. It won't work. And she is completely and utterly controlled by the radical socialist base in her party. As I said, it's Speaker Pelosi in name only. Pelosi doesn't appease Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Omar, and others. She knows she's out of leadership. And that's why after today's White House meeting, Pelosi doubled down on dumb and on these unfounded attacks against the president and said she'd pray for him.
Wasn't really respectful of the Congress and the White House working together. He just took a pass. In any event, I pray for the President of the United States, and I pray for the United States of America. The fact is, in plain sight, in the public domain, this president is obstructing justice, and he's engaged in a cover-up. And that could be an impeachable offense.
That's the leader? Wow. All right, on Twitter, the president had a special message for Pelosi, writing, quote, Democratic leadership is tearing the U.S. apart, but I will continue to set records for the American people. And Nancy, thank you so much for your prayers. I know you truly mean it. It kind of cracked me up. Democrats, their friends in the media mob, they spent 3 long years trying to con you, the American people. Make no doubt, they lied to you. They lied the entire time. This is no longer the party of a Joe Lieberman, even a Tip O'Neill, strong liberal, Massachusetts, Scoop Jackson. Instead, it is now the party of radical socialists, liars, con artists, and conspiracy theorists. That's who they are. That's all they own. Where are the solutions for the American people? And appropriately enough, their one-time savior, Michael Avenatti, is once again in serious legal trouble. Today, yes, he was charged with stealing money from Stormy's book deal. He's also facing separate extortion charges on 36 other federal indictments for perjury, theft, fraud. Now, for months, by the way, Avenatti was begging to come on this program over and over again. And we never gave him a serious platform. He never deserved it. We looked at him as well, frankly, we kind of saw through him from the get-go. This channel literally called out his fraud over and over again. By the way, we still give him the presumption of innocence, something he'd never give to Justice Kavanaugh. But this wasn't the case on other networks. For over a year, the media mob worshipped at the altar of Avenatti, giving him hours and hours of airtime to spew his fraudulent, unchecked accusations. And they were giddy about every interview. Remember this.
I'm joined now by Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti. Thanks for making time.
Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, joins us live now. Michael, thank you very much for joining us.
The attorney for Stephanie Clifford, a.k.a. Stormy Daniels. Mr. Avenatti, welcome to Meet the Press, sir.
Michael Avenatti. Sir, thanks for being on the show tonight. I appreciate it.
Michael, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Michael Avenatti joins me now. Good evening, Michael.
Let's bring in Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' attorney, of course. Michael, with a welcome to you.
And here to discuss is Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti. Michael, it's good to see you.
Let's first get reaction, though, from Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti. Go.
Go. Now, the people you just saw promoting Avenatti and his claims, they're the same people who promoted the Russian lies and conspiracy theories against the president every second, minute, hour of every day. Same people now calling for this impeachment over phantom crimes. The same I-believers in the Kavanaugh case and the ones that believe in protecting Hillary from real obstruction with real intent and a real underlying crime. And the media mob's reckless bias has never been more palpable than today. It is clear now more than ever As we've said in 07 and beyond, journalism in America, it is dead, it is buried. We're going to have a lot more coming up throughout the hour. As I said, we have a lot of guests coming up tonight, breaking news. We have a big story to cover. The House Ranking Intelligence Committee member Devin Nunes, in a letter to President Trump, the congressman, he is now urging President Trump to discuss Hillary's dirty Russian bought and paid for dossier with his British counterpart, writing, quote, I respectfully request that you ask Prime Minister May about the British government's knowledge of the Steele dossier and whether the British government took any unilateral actions based on information provided by Steele at the request of any U.S. departments. In other words, it appears the ranking member of the House Intel Committee has reason to believe the British government may have also used the dirty Russian phony lying dossier Hillary paid for as a basis to spy on a political campaign. So tonight, the question remains, did they coordinate with our own American intel agencies to spy on an American citizen working for the Trump campaign, maybe trying to get them to circumvent American laws and do things that they would never be allowed to do? Just a question.